Hello everyone. Decided to start making a video series out about what it is to become a pallet reseller. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. Done real well at it, and I've decided I've moved up to where I sell wholesale pallets to people that want to become and do the same thing I was doing. I'm going to pass along my information as far as what pallets to look for, what you want to, how you want to sell it. Do you want to sell online? Do you want to do eBay, Amazon? Are you going to be a flea market person? Is it going to be a thrift store? Maybe you're going to take it to a consignment store, whatever. There are so many different ways you can resell pallets and the product on the pallets. I'm going to take you step by step from where to find pallets of merchandise, what companies are out there doing it, pros and cons of buying it direct, going to the people and buying it off of them, to ordering it online. You can buy pallets online, have them shipped straight to your house. That might be a thing for you. The pros and cons of each one. What pallets are you looking for? What kind of selling are you going to be doing? On my first series here, I'm going to walk you through looking for a pallet to sell at a flea market. It is the easiest way to get started in the business. It is very simple. All you've got to do is have a little bit of work ethic behind you, not want to quit. It can, triple your money, is your best scenario you're going to deal with on a day-to-day basis. I'll show you the different versions of, where you can look to price your stuff. You don't just have to go with, walking around a store, finding the exact same thing. You've got online. Go online. They're scanning apps. You got everything out there at your fingertips. That makes it so much easier than it was in the old days of trying to figure out who's selling the best, what's selling the best in the whole 9 yards. But I'm going to walk through picking a pallet out. I'm going to go through the pallet. I'm going to go through the pallet. I've got pallets marked at $375, $400. Walk you through some of the easiest pallets to mess with, and then we'll go from there. We'll go from processing the pallet, sorting it out. Some of the questions are, a lot of people have, well, is it damages? Is it broken? Whatever, in our business we deal with a lot of, the standard stuff that you usually see as general merchandise, and it's usually the easiest and cheapest stuff to get your hands on and start your day out with is customer returns. You're going to look at maybe about 6% of the pallet that's going to be, you're just going to have to figure out something to do with it. You're going to pitch it. You're going to have to figure out how to resell it, break it down and sell it as a piece. You might get a blender that's busted, but the beaters and everything are there. You might have to just, market it as, I've got the beaters for a blah, blah, blah blender. You'd be surprised how many people will buy stuff. People get all, hung up on they want brand new and clean stuff. Well, that's all good and dandy, but you're going to have to pay for that stuff. And then you starting off at this business, you're not going to be able to go out and buy a $700 pallet of clean merchandise, $800 pallet of clean merchandise, and You got to move and market that stuff, and you have to look at everything on it as a reseller. Yes, it's new, still in the box, unopened, the whole 9 yards, but you are selling it used, so you have to market it as a used item. You can look out and you can find, you know, the brand new stuff and the whole 9 yards, but it might not sell. I mean, it's just that simple fact. I've gone to flea markets and I've sat there all day, and everybody and their brother, you know, selling around me, and I'm sitting there and I'm wondering why nobody's buying off of me. Well, you know, it might be because I have the wrong product on my table. It might be because I have the wrong prices on my stuff. You know, there's no telling what it is. So you got to be eager to want to change your program up a little bit, you know, do things a little bit different. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk y'all through. I'm going to set you down and price it out for you, do an inventory of it, what it costs, and what to look for, what to avoid being a first-time pallet buyer. You know, a lot of people sit there and would think, you know, oh, you know, I want to buy, you know, look at that, the warehouse has a big pallet of microwaves. Microwaves sell. Everybody needs a microwave. They're the easiest way to cook something. As much as people are moving around nowadays, everybody needs a microwave sooner or later. Do you want to invest all your money in just microwaves? No, because you got a possibility of not being able to recoup your money out of 16 individual microwaves. Would I say, yeah, to selling that to somebody if they wanted it? Sure, I would, but I want to keep a customer coming in, so this is my idea to y'all, is to pass it on to y'all to teach you that, you know, maybe it's a little bit better to get into the buckets at work. You know, you got to get into buckets that got tons of stuff in them. You know, you just don't want to sit there and, you know, buy a pallet of, you know, what do we got? Automotive stuff. Whole big old bucket of it. You know, it's all customer returns. You know, they didn't like it, didn't fit their car, or whatever. That's a big old bucket of it. You know, it's a big Gaylord. They're called Gaylords. And, you know, is it easier to recoup your money when you've got 16 items, or is it easier to recoup your money when you've got 75 items? Got to do the math. I mean, it's just easier. Sure, you're going to be selling a higher value, higher dollar microwave, but microwaves are microwaves, and they're all over the place. So, you know, would I say buy a bucket, buy a Gaylord full of, you know, housewares, and then buy a pallet of microwaves and mix it together? Sure, you know, that would be smart. You know, microwaves bring people over, and 9 times out of 10, somebody buys one thing off your table, they're going to buy a couple things because they're going to see something else that's on sale, or something else that's got a good deal on it. So, you know, there's all kind of ways around it. But I'm going to show you, you know, what you need to do with, you know, all your stuff. I mean, you're going to get stuff in there that's going to have chips, cracks, broken, you know, whatever. But you're selling at a flea market. So, you know, as long as you're telling the people what's going on with it, if they buy it, they buy it. If they don't, they don't. You know, that's the nice thing about the flea market. It's a as is, where is kind of scenario. But I'm going to sit down. I'm going to start thinking about what pallet I'm going to do. And I want y'all to tune in, check it out. I'm going to put up each one each week. I might put a couple up a week. I don't know. Just depending on how much stuff I get done. But I'm going to buy a pallet. I'm going to show you the price of my pallet. I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to sit there and take one of my pallets off my floor and just sell it at my cost. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to redo this pallet. I'm going to do this pallet as if you walk in my place. You buy my pallet off of me, and we're going to go from there. And we'll do it step by step. I'll take my time. We're going to make sure we check everything through, process it, you know, the whole 9 yards. And then I'm going to take you out to the flea market, show you, you know, laying it out on the tables, setting it up, the whole 9 yards. And then at the end of it all, I'm going to show you how much I made off that pallet and what your possibilities of, you know, the whole 9 yards. And then maybe after this series, I might change up and I might do where I go over to, I got a little auction place I can go to and do a quick sale on auction. Nice way to turn money around real fast, but not as much profit in it because it's real fast, and a lot of people just like to pay dollars for $10, you know, worth of stuff. So, you know, it just depends. It's the market. You get 2 people bidding on something, though, it can, you know, I've seen some weird stuff go way past its prime just because they wanted it. But we're going to take our time. I'm going to show y'all what y'all, you know, what you need to look for. Any kind of like ideas or comments or anything like that. If y'all got any questions, put them down in the comments. I'll try and look at them, see if I can't figure out something for you. And hopefully, you know, we can get it to where, you know, everybody out there can start making a little bit of extra money. And this is the idea behind was buying pallets, and that's why I got into it. Was I wanted to make extra money. I was already making enough money to pay my bills. I wanted to make extra money to save, extra money to go on vacation, extra money to start going and working for myself like I am now. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna go through this process and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it, discuss it, you know, the whole 9 yards. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page, or I'm going to have it on my YouTube channel and then on my Facebook page. And if y'all got any comments or questions, y'all let me know. What do you want to know? Did I not explain something to you the right way? Let me know. I'll talk to you about it. All right? Y'all have a good day.